Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. A lot is going on in Nigeria that is a cause for concern for most Nigerians. Let us leave sentiment aside. Let's leave emotions apart. Let's leave a political affiliation apart. Let's leave religiousness, ethnicity, and religion and region aside. Let's look at Nigeria the way it is objectively. And unfortunately, I must say this. Objectively, Nigeria is at the brink of collapse if we do not get it right. Already, the level of corruption is now a norm. We moved from hundreds of thousands to millions, now to billions, now to foreign currencies like in dollars. And it looks as if Nigerians living in Nigeria are helpless to the daylight issues that are going on without anyone calling anyone to order. Well, as we look at things objectively, many Nigerians are already calling out issues. A typical example is what is going on in the country, where, as some few days back or some few weeks back, there was a call for subsidy removal. Many Nigerians believe that the subsidy is more like a daylight robbery, where some few individuals are, looting the greater good of Nigerians by doing a lot of things to the economy, and hence the need for subsidy removal so that the market forces will take its course and hopefully refineries are rebuilt. Of course, there have been promises of subsidy removal. Eventually, of course, the fuel prices have gone up, yet there's no subsidy removal. So the government of the day did mention that they're going to remove the subsidy, and in that effect, the humanitarian minister made up her mind, or rather in conjunction with the federal government, that they will have to borrow because they don't have no money elsewhere to get money. They borrow to cushion the effect of subsidy removal because they're looking at fuel moving down to probably $750, 750 naira per liter, which is going to be too high. So they said they're going to borrow to subsidize the rate or cushion the effect by giving Nigerians some good amount of money. And so they borrowed, and all of a sudden the government is making U-turn. But this is getting out of hand simply because the oppositions are beginning to react, and the reaction is coming very quickly. Some of them are even already calling out, what happens to the money borrowed already? Now that you're making U-turn, what is online? In a moment, you're going to find out what some of the stakeholders are saying concerning this matter. This is Nigeria, and no Nigerian is more Nigerian than every other Nigerian. So this is our country. We need to address this. We need to look at this objectively, of course, objectively in parentheses, in emphasis, objectively. Before we go into the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the right subscribe button beside it. You see about notification icon, please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. Let's look at what the PDP chieftain said concerning this whole matter, and of course look at also what other top politicians, senators are saying concerning this matter. This is our Nigeria. Well, according to the news, Daniel Bwala, a legal practitioner, an author, an adjacent lecturer, and a regulatory consultant, has told Nigerians to expect nothing from the next administration. He added that their manifesto is full of renewed hopelessness. He also further said that the good thing is that the pending election litigation is the only thing presenting Nigeria with an opportunity to correct the mess caused by INEC. He made this known to the public via his post on his social media page. He said, and I quote, "When you read their manifestos, the renewed hopelessness or renewed excuses against the backdrop of present realities of dwindling revenue, high inflation rate, and so on and so forth. Believe me, there's nothing to expect from the next administration. The good thing is that there's a pending election litigation that will provide Nigeria the opportunity to correct the mess caused by INEC." Of course, many Nigerians are talking, but let's also find out what a senator said concerning this same matter. Former Kaduna Central lawmaker Senator Shehu Sani has asked the federal government to keep safe the $800 million it received earlier as a loan from the World Bank to cushion the effect of the planned fuel subsidy. But I'll take that again. Former Kaduna Central lawmaker Senator Shehu Sani has asked the federal government to keep safe the 800 million US dollars it received earlier as a loan from the World Bank to cushion the effect of the planned fuel subsidy removal. For months now, the Nigerian government has maintained it will remove subsidy on premium motor spirit, otherwise known as PMS, to broaden its revenue. PMS should be the regular fuel. The planned petrol subsidy removal was scheduled to commence in June 2023. The government, however, announced on Thursday, April the 27th, that the plan is now suspended. $800 million in our kitchen. And now they are stopping the plan. Ejo, Mbonum, Emma Binu, Mbok. Please, the 800 million naira, $800 million. I hope there's no intention to use it again, because the whole essence of getting it is now defeated. So keep it like that. And they've even collected it as a loan. There's repayment to be done, interest to be paid. My God, how did we get here? Let's continue with what he said. Well, according to him, speaking on the development shortly after the National Executive Council NEC meeting yesterday, which comprises of state governors, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said after the extensive deliberation on the issue, a conclusion was reached that it will not be wise to remove subsidy as soon as the new administration is trying to settle down to governance. We also understand that NEC meeting yesterday was chaired by Vice President Yemi Osibajo. Ahmed also noted in her update yesterday that the existing committee that has been discussing the fuel subsidy issue needed to be expanded to enable more input from concerned Nigerians. Reacting to the development, Senator Sani, in a post on the social media page, said, now that subsidy will not be removed, please, that 800 million US dollars borrowed from the World Bank for the purpose should be kept safe. I beg. We don't want to hear that consultants have been paid with half of the money. In another post, the former lawmaker suspected that the President Muhammad Buhari backpedaled from the subsidy removal out of fear of protests and strikes. He left it to the Jagaban to deal with the problem, Sani said. Recall that the World Bank approved an 800 million US dollars loan from the Nigerian government in early April to cushion the effect of petrol subsidy removal when finally implemented in June 2023. Addressing the State House correspondent on April 5th, 2023, shortly after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammad Buhari at the Presidential Villa Abuja, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said the 800 million US dollars in the first tranche of palliatives to be disbursed through cash transfers to about 50 million Nigerians who belong to the most vulnerable category of society has been secured. Hey, she said, and I quote, the secondary question on the exit of fuel subsidy, this is a commitment in the petroleum industry bill. There's a provision that says that 18 months after the effectiveness of the PIA, that all petroleum products must be deregulated, and that 18 months takes us to June 2023. Also, when we were working on the 2023 medium-term expenditure framework and the Appropriation Act, we made that provision to enable us to exit fuel subsidies by June 2023. We're all, of course, having different stakeholder engagement. We have secured some funding from the World Bank, which is the first tranche of the palliative, that will enable us to give cash transfers to the most vulnerable in our society that have now been registered in a national social register here. My name is Nadia, and I'm sure let me speak for myself first. My own name is Nadia. According to the news, today the register has at least 10 million households. 10 million households is equivalent to about 50 million Nigerians. According to her, the federal government has also raised more resources to enable it to do more than just the cash transfers, and also in its engagement with the various stakeholders, the various kinds of tax that we have to go beyond the requirements of just giving cash transfers. Labour, for example, might be looking for mass transit for its members. You have heard